Top 13 animal in the Wheel of Time universe, explained. The world of the Wheel of Time is rich with cultures, histories, and magic, but one of the more fascinating and often overlooked aspects of Robert Jordan's creation is its strange and exotic fauna. Some creatures come from the familiar lands of the Westlands, while others hail from distant continents like Seanchan, where evolution, or perhaps the One Power, took some wildly different turns. Let's explore every known non-human creature mentioned in the series, from poisonous lizards to massive war beasts. Before we jump into the exploration, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on future videos. Thank you. Let's begin. Wolf. Perhaps the most significant animal in the series, wolves are more than simple predators. They are sentient beings who exist in a spiritual cycle of rebirth, communicating through imagery and emotion. Wolves share a special bond with wolf brothers like Per and Ibarra, who can speak to them telepathically. In dreams, wolves enter Telerin Riot after death, continuing their existence in the wolf dream. They remember all their lives and pass knowledge through generations, giving them a timeless presence in the pattern. Wolves detest the shadow, especially Murdril and Trollocs, and will lay down their lives to defeat these foes. Their reverence for Rand, whom they call Shadowkiller, and their awareness of Tarmon Gaidon, which they call the Last Hunt, cements their mystical role in the fate of the world. Even their names hold deep symbolic meaning. One wolf, named Two Moons, is described in imagery as a reflection of the moon on water, capturing the poetic essence of wolf identity. In contrast to common belief, wolves are not aligned with evil, though superstitions persist, particularly among the White Cloaks, who believe Trollocs are made from wolf parts. This misconception has led to widespread persecution of wolves, even as they serve as hidden allies in the fight against the dark. Together, these animals create a textured and vibrant layer to the Wheel of Time. Each creature, whether real-world inspired like the Esridit or entirely fantastical like the Torm, reflects the distinct cultures and philosophies of the people who live alongside them. Seanchan society, in particular, reveals its structured and militaristic nature through its use of exotic creatures like the Raken, Turaken, and Torm, all trained, controlled, and bonded to human will. Meanwhile, native Westlanders like Perrin engage with animals more spiritually, especially with wolves, who become allies in the battle for the light. And not all these animals are bound to the waking world. The presence of mountain kings and ancient Esridit skeletons in Telerin Riot proves that these creatures transcend physical boundaries, appearing even in dreams and visions. Just as people in the Wheel of Time have power beyond the material realm, so too do the animals that live beside them. Whether they swim through treacherous rivers, soar through Seanchan skies, or stalk silently in dreams, these animals are more than beasts. They are reflections of the world itself, diverse, dangerous, and deeply intertwined with a pattern. Turaken. Among the creatures that truly define the Seanchan's dominion of the skies, none are more iconic than the Turaken. Towering and leathery-winged, these massive flying beasts dwarf their smaller cousins, the Raken, both in size and stamina. Where a Raken is nimble and swift, darting through the skies with agility and precision, the Turaken is a lumbering juggernaut of air travel. It cannot launch into the air from a standing position. Instead, it must gallop across open ground to build momentum before taking off, much like a heavily laden ship setting out to sea. Despite their bulk and awkward takeoff, Turaken are critical to the Seanchan war machine. They serve as aerial transports, capable of carrying not just riders, but supplies, equipment, and even small siege weapons across vast distances. A single Turaken can carry loads upward of 1,000 pounds, traveling nearly 1,000 miles without rest. They are most commonly used to ferry generals, important messages, or battle-ready reinforcements across the Empire's far-reaching territories. Intelligent in their own way, Turaken are famously stubborn, particularly when injured. They have been known to refuse flight if they sense the destination is dangerous, a feature that frustrates their handlers but has likely saved many a life. Training a Turaken requires a blend of patience, strength, and calm authority, and the creatures bond deeply with their handlers, recognizing voices and even responding to emotional cues. Torm. Of all the creatures hailing from Seanchan lands, none are as enigmatic and fiercely unique as the Torm. Roughly the size of a large horse, Torm are quadrupedal predators with 6-clawed feet that enable them to scale nearly vertical stone walls with terrifying ease. Their coppery scales shimmer in dim light, giving them a ghost-like appearance as they move through underbrush or leap from cliffs. 3 eyes, arranged triangularly on their face, give the Torm exceptional depth perception and a reputation for eerie omniscience. Carnivorous by nature, torum require a steady diet of fresh meat, and their temperament becomes unstable when they are underfed. Unlike other war creatures, torum are not domesticated in the traditional sense. Each torum chooses a single rider, often through a mysterious bonding process, and will not accept any other. Attempts to mount an unbonded torum often result in immediate and violent rejection, sometimes fatal to the rider. Once bonded, however, the loyalty is unshakable, even in the face of death. The Seanchan use torum primarily as scouts and assassins, for few can match their speed, stealth, and agility. However, there's a cost to their deadliness. Torum can enter a frenzy when exposed to prolonged combat or stress, attacking anything within reach. Their particular hatred of Corum, another Seanchan creature used in warfare, is inexplicable but intense, and battles between the two are always brutal. Legends whisper that torum are not native to Seanchan alone, that they come from a deeper place, a darker forest untouched by civilization, where even the Seanchan tread lightly. Whether this is truth or myth is unknown, but it adds another layer to the mystique of these terrifying beasts. Raken. From the distant continent of Seanchan comes the Raken, a large, leathery-winged flying creature used primarily for scouting and message delivery. Roughly the size of a horse in girth and longer in length, the Raken has a horse-level intelligence and responds to rain cues from its riders, known as Morat Raken. With its powerful jaw and snout-like head, the Raken is as formidable as it is graceful in the air. It has 6 to lone toes per foot and uses its long tail for agile flight maneuvers. Though awkward on the ground, in the sky it's swift and capable of short bursts of incredible speed. Female Raken lay single eggs, and these animals are trained rigorously for aerial use in both military and civilian capacities. Grolm, the amphibious behemoths of Seanchan. Towering over most battlefield beasts, the Grolm is a creature as terrifying in presence as it is effective in war. Hailing from the continent of Seanchan, these creatures are as iconic to the Seanchan Empire as warhorses are to other nations, but far more alien. Imagine a bear, then stretch its body into a hunched, amphibious form covered in mottled gray-green skin that appears constantly slick with moisture. Now, give it 3 eyes, spaced evenly across its broad, squat face, and a gait that looks awkward until it suddenly lunges forward in a blinding leap. That's a Grolm. These monsters are built for terror and aggression. They move with deceptive slowness, waddling like bloated frogs on land, until they strike. In battle, Grolm can suddenly cover distances with enormous bounds, leaping high and far enough to crash into formations and crush opponents with their sheer mass. Their skin is thick and rubbery, difficult to pierce with conventional weapons, highly territorial and omnivorous. Grolm will eat anything, from local fauna to other Grolm. In fact, cannibalism is not uncommon in the wild or even in captivity when food is scarce. They hunt in packs and communicate through loud, guttural barking cries, which can echo for miles and rally distant Grolm to a coordinated attack. The Seanchan use these beasts as shock troops, particularly against cavalry and unarmored soldiers. Their handlers, known as Morat Grolm, are specialists in controlling and directing these dangerous animals in battle. High-ranking commanders, called der Morat Grolm, coordinate entire units of Grolm, treating them with the same tactical significance as elite infantry or siege engines. Since their first appearance in A Mirror World by Rand al'Thor, Loyal, and Huron, Grolm have become a symbol of the Empire's strange and terrifying military strength. Corum, the predatory bird-mammal hybrid. Native to Seanchan, the Corum is a terrifying example of the continent's alien wildlife. Resembling a flightless bird covered in fur instead of feathers, the Corum can reach heights of 8 feet and weigh up to 300 pounds. Its fur ranges in color, gray, black, brown, and is often striped or mottled, almost cat-like in pattern. It has a long, hooked beak perfect for tearing flesh, and ears that look like double crests on its head. Corum are powerful predators. They rely on keen hearing and an acute sense of smell to track prey, traits rarely associated with birds. They have short, powerful forearms used mainly for nesting and feeding, while their deadly 4-toed feet and oversized beak do most of the damage during the hunt. They can outrun a human over short distances and even match one over long runs. Notably, Corum eyes are placed on the sides of their heads, unlike their cousins, the Torum, making them better suited for detecting movement across a wide field of vision. Dark Hounds, Hounds of the Shadow. Among the most nightmarish shadow spawn are the Dark Hounds, massive spectral hounds bred to serve the shadow. What makes them horrifying isn't just their size or speed, but their toxic, supernatural essence. Darkhound saliva and blood are corrosive and lethal. Even the smallest contact with skin causes immense pain and death, while a full bite is almost always fatal. They leave no tracks on dirt but scorch footprints into stone. A scent of sulfur or rotting death often precedes their arrival. Packs typically contain 10 to 12 hounds, though some, like the pack that hunted Perrin Ibarra near Sohaber, number up to 50. They're exceptionally hard to kill, resistant to normal weapons, and impervious to most direct attacks. Only power-wrought weapons and balefire reliably destroy them. Lawnman Dragon once said that no one can outrun a dark hound once it has your scent. Rain and running water, however, act as barriers. Though they usually avoid storms, a determined pack might still pursue prey through rain. They are the Shadow's assassins, relentless and terrifying. Durans, the draft horses of Gildan. Durans are large draft horses originally bred in Gildan and known for their immense size and strength. Used primarily for hauling heavy loads, they're a staple of rural life in places like Emmons Field. Brand Alvier owns a team of Durans, often hired out during times of need, such as after the Trolloc attack on the village. Some Durans are so large that even an ogre like Loyal could ride one comfortably, though Loyal's horse itself isn't technically a Duran. In Baerlon, these horses can be seen pulling carts of or to and from the ironworks. With their calm temperament and exceptional strength, Durans are the working giants of the Westlands. Absolutely. Here's an expanded version of the creature descriptions from the Wheel of Time universe, fleshed out to reach about 1,000 words and adding more detail, flavor, and narrative flow to each entry. Gara, the deadly lizard of the waste. In the blistering heart of the Ale Waste, where heat ripples off the sand like waves off a forge, lurks one of the most deceptively deadly creatures in the world of the Wheel, the Gara. Measuring just 2 feet in length, the Gara might easily be dismissed as a harmless desert dweller by the untrained eye. Its bronze scales shimmer under the sun, interspersed with sharp yellow stripes that ripple like warning signs. But it is not the Gara's appearance that makes it dangerous. It is its bite. Despite lacking great speed or strength, the Gara wields a potent weapon, a venom so lethal that even the thickest leather boots offer little protection. The venom, secreted as a clear, oily fluid, quickly soaks through clothing or armor and acts with terrifying speed. A single bite has been known to kill a full-grown bull within minutes, making it one of the most dangerous natural toxins in the known world. Fortunately, for those who know what to look for, the Gara is relatively easy to avoid. It prefers rocky outcroppings and shaded crevices, often lying motionless under the sun, blending into its surroundings. The Ale, well-versed in the dangers of the waste, have long since learned to tread carefully and spot the telltale glint of bronze among the stones. Strangely, despite their lethal bite, Gara are not without practical use. The venom breaks down rapidly after the creature's death, and its flesh is not only edible, it's surprisingly palatable. Many describe it as tasting like chicken, though with a slightly oily texture. While few would hunt Gara by choice, in times of desperation, Ale warriors and hardy travelers have been known to cook and eat the meat, sometimes even preserving it by drying it into jerky. 100 Heads, the pond monster of local legend. In the tranquil countryside of Anda and the Two Rivers, where the trees whisper old stories and the ponds reflect the stars like glass, tales persist of a creature both strange and terrifying, the 100 Heads. Also known as the 100 Arms, this being is more myth than monster, an aquatic terror that, if real, is rarely seen and less often survived. Described in hushed tones around hearths and campfires, the 100 Heads is said to live in deep, stagnant waters. It has a body hidden in darkness, with dozens, if not hundreds, of serpentine tendrils that writhe just below the surface. Fishermen whisper that it waits at the bottom, still and patient, until something disturbs the water. Then the tentacles strike, dragging prey below in a tangle of flailing limbs. Its legendary status is supported only faintly by textual references, the most prominent being in the Wheel of Time companion, which confirms the creature's existence, at least in folklore, in regions like Wadawood. Elaine Traken once used the image of 100 heads to describe a wildly unstable gateway, comparing it to a mess of thrashing tentacles surrounding a singular, monstrous core. Whether magical, mundane, or entirely imagined, the 100 Heads serves an important role in the cultural psyche of the Westlands, a symbol of chaos, of unseen danger lurking in peaceful places, and of the unknown monsters that still thrive in a world of one power and prophecy. 100 Legs, the Westlands centipede, far more mundane, but no less evocative in its own way, is the 100 Legs. A large centipede found throughout the Westlands, it is notable not for its danger, but for its sheer strangeness. With dozens of legs and a sinuous body, It darts across forest floors and underbrush with eerie speed. Nynaeve Almira once likened a narrow boat scuttling across the harbor in Ibu Dar to 100 legs, capturing both the image of quick, deliberate motion and a touch of discomfort. These creatures, while not particularly dangerous to humans, can bite if threatened and are generally avoided. They live in damp environments, rotting logs, under stones, or beneath the eaves of old buildings, and are part of the natural ecosystem, feeding on smaller insects and decaying plant matter. The 100 legs represents the everyday wildlife of the world, creatures that are not tied to prophecy, war, or the power, but which nevertheless fill the world with color and life. Loper, the war beast of the Seanchan blood. If the Grolm is the Seanchan's brute force weapon, the Loper is its embodiment of intimidation and authority. Towering at over 10 feet tall when fully upright, with skin like reddish-brown leather and a disturbingly smooth, muzzle-less face, the Loper is a creature of raw power. Despite their size and build, Loper are capable of short bursts of incredible speed, often faster than a galloping horse. This makes them ideal for short-range shock assaults, smashing through enemy lines or guarding important figures in battle. In melee combat, they are devastating, able to rip apart lightly armored foes and even flip carts or small siege engines with brute force. Among the Seanchan nobility, particularly the Blood, Loper are more than just war beasts. They're status symbols. High Lady Suroth famously kept one named Almandargal, using it both as a pet and a visible representation of her power. Yet, despite their capacity for violence, Loper are surprisingly calm when unprovoked. Their docility makes them trainable, though their mating cycles are notoriously dangerous. Fatalities among both the animals and their handlers are not uncommon. Morat Loper, the handlers who specialize in their care, are rigorously trained to deal with these challenges, overseeing breeding programs and ensuring their charges remain controlled. In the world of the Wheel of Time, the Loper represents the frightening beauty and structured cruelty of the Seanchan Empire, order built atop controlled savagery. Mountain King. In the rugged heights of the Ale Waste lives one of the deadliest serpents in the world, the Mountain King. This vividly colored snake is easily recognizable by its striking red and white banded body. Despite its beauty, the Mountain King is lethally venomous. Within an hour of being bitten, victims suffer tremors, cramping, and full-body convulsions, leading to a painful death. Amy's warns Nynaeve that the danger posed by this snake isn't limited to the waking world. It's equally deadly in Telerin Riot, the world of dreams. The Mountain King reminds us that in the Wheel of Time, even dreams can kill. Sredit. The Esridit, or boar horses as the flamboyant showman Valen Luca dubs them, are among the most imposing creatures ever to walk the lands of the Wheel of Time. Towering over men and even most horses, these enormous beasts are instantly recognizable by their thick, wrinkled gray hides, broad, pillar-like legs, and the long, dexterous trunks that serve as both appendage and weapon. Their massive ivory tusks, curling out from their faces like scythes, make them a sight to behold, and a creature to fear if angered. These creatures, known to us as elephants, are native to the exotic continent of Seanchan, where they are deeply woven into the cultural and military tapestry of the Empire. There, Esridit are revered not merely for their strength, but for their intelligence and loyalty. Within the Empire, they serve dual roles, as beasts of burden, capable of pulling immense loads across treacherous terrain, and as instruments of war, used to break enemy lines with their sheer bulk and power. Their thick skin offers some natural protection, and in battle, they are often armored and adorned with painted symbols denoting their allegiance and triumphs. In Valen Luca's traveling menagerie, a hodgepodge of exotic and marvelous beasts meant to awe and inspire, 3 Esridit serve as the crown jewels: Mare, Sanit, and Naren. These 3 are handled by Sarandon, a former Seanchan handler with the rare skills required to manage such complex animals. Each beast responds only to her voice and touch, a testament to the deep bond required to handle creatures of such intelligence and potential danger. Interestingly, traces of ivory existed in the Westlands long before the arrival of the Seanchan and their Esridit. This historical oddity has led some scholars and explorers to speculate that either wild populations of Esridit once roamed the unknown regions of the world, perhaps in the mysterious land of Shera, or that ivory was sourced from entirely different sea creatures or ancient caches lost to time. Luca, ever the showman, adds to the intrigue by claiming his Esridit hail from Shera, not Seanchan, a lie designed to increase their mystique and his ticket sales. The final takeaway. From the soaring skies of Seanchan to the hidden depths of the Wolf Dream, the creatures of the Wheel of Time are more than background. They're woven into the very fabric of the pattern. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this journey through the wild side of the wheel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn the wheel one more time with us next episode. Until then, may you always find water and shade.